Hey guys, so today we're going to be going over the blues scale. This is a great scale in blues, rock, pop, and everything else. It's kind of based off the pentatonic scale, but with the addition of the blues note. So stick around. We're going to go over it all right now. Please click on the like, subscribe button, and we'll get started as soon as we roll the intro.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
So just to recap what we've went over all the notes of the guitar, over chromatic scale exercises. We went over the tuning your guitar by ear. We've went over the trick called playing in the box. We've went over the pentatonic scales. And now we're going to talk about the blues scale. Hey, we always start these videos with the basics. Coffee.
Hey, so anyway, just to give you a few examples, here's some scales. If you want to Google them or look them up, all these scales have a little bit different sounds, you know. The ones I'm giving you are the ones that are commonly used in rock, blues, you know, country, folk, pop, stuff like that. But as you can see, and this is just a few of them, I mean, there's a lot of different scales that all have unique sounds. Like, you know, some of the main ones you'll hear about sometimes are these. The ones we went over, the major, the minor, the Aeolian, the Ionian. You'll hear them talk about the Mixolydian scale, which is often, it's kind of improvised over a dominant seventh, so it's used in a lot of folk songs and stuff. Dorian modal scale is one they use a lot in jazz type of stuff. This Phrygian scale, it's kind of the third mode of the major scale, so that third shape of the major scale, but its minor third gives it a minor tone, and it's got a little bit of a change up on it, and it kind of gives it a Spanish Arabic feel to it, and it's using a lot of Spanish and flamenco music, also used in some rock and metal stuff. So Lydian modal scale down here is produces a unique sound that's mainly used in like jazz and fusion and stuff like that. But anyway, if you want to cut these out and go looking at them and play around with them, you know, sometimes you can come up with your own sound just by looking at different scales than everybody else is using. So anyway, you can hear Molly's disapproval of what I'm doing over there. No. The blues scale, so this is one used a lot in blues. This one is exactly like it's exactly like the pentatonic minor scale, except it has this extra note in it, like that 2 right there and this 4 that it added into there. These 2 notes give it that bluesy sound when they're playing it, so which is why it's called the blues scale. So whenever you're hearing that one, it would be like if it were on A, it would be. So it's going to give it kind of a bluesy feel to that rock, to that one. You know, if it were played over a, you know, if it were played a 1 octave C blues scale, you know, you can do the 1 octave sitting here on the 3rd fret, but instead of starting on that top string, just start on the, you know, the G note. This one would be kind of like played in a, yeah, it would be played here on the. That would be a 1 octave. And then if you wanted to play it like a 2 octave, you could slide down to the 8th fret and, you know, just play it like the normal scale was printed up there off the 8th fret, which would be, you know, in that A11. And I wrote out the tab on here for you. So you're going to be... So anyway, just practice going up and down those scales until you can get kind of real fluid with them and everything else. I need to kind of go over the scales too. Like I said, I laid down the guitar for a little while, but as I'm picking it back up, I decided to do these videos on it. So
we're also going to talk about the Aeolian and Ionian modes, which basically just means major and minor scales. So they're natural minor, natural major scales. So one more thing. You'll hear me in this video refer to these as heptatonic scales because they have 7 notes per octave on them. Technically, when you're looking them up, you're not going to see a whole lot on heptatonic scales. These are referred to as diatonic, which means they have 2 half steps per octave. Some of them could have 3, 2 to 3 per octave. Most of these we're looking at have 2 half steps per octave. So a diatonic scale has 5 whole steps and anywhere from 2 to 3 half steps per octave. So anyway, if you're looking these up, you want to look up diatonic scales. I refer to them as heptatonic because they have 7 notes per scale, but the correct terminology you'll hear them referred to as diatonic scales.
all right, guys, so anyway, you'll hear people talk about the Ionian scale. Keep in mind, Ionian scale is just major scale. You'll notice these are heptatonic scales. So what I mean by that, hepta means 7. So the scales I've been going over, the pentatonic, are great for practicing. They're a lot better for beginners. They're 5-note scales. They're easier to practice and kind of get a lot of your scales like Ionian mode, Aeolian mode, and all those are more heptatonic scales. So it's the same scale as what we were playing in the pentatonic major, minor, but they have these additional notes. If you look, this is a 7-note scale. It's a heptatonic. So going from the root note would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So anyway, there's 7 notes between them, so they're going to be heptatonic. And it has the major scale has a very clear, simple sound, but it's the starting point for almost every other scale in Western music. So in terms of mode, the Ionian, you'll hear it called Ionian and major, there's no difference. The Ionian modal scale is the same as the major scale. So don't let that throw you off. That's just, some people call it the Ionian modal scale, some people call it a major scale. It's exactly the same. If you ever decide to study music theory, you'll want to know this one real well because, like I said, it's a major scale, so it's the basis of it. Once again, you're going to start that root note like, the second one on wherever you want to do it. So, if you were starting on an A, your second finger would start there. So like this one's showing a 2-octave C major scale, and they're kind of starting where the second finger is. So, if they started on that 8-10, that's your second finger. You just want to practice going up and down them, that's going to be a major scale. Coming over here, Aeolian modal scale, So that all that is a natural minor scale. So natural minor scales and Aeolian modal scales are the same. Guitar scales, but with different names. It's just somebody called them a modal instead of a I don't know why they did that, but they did. Some people, it's easier to remember Ionian, Mixolydian, and all that mode instead of remembering major scale, minor scale, but you know, they're the same thing. So anyway, you can take a screenshot of that. This is your natural minor scale, which would be 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. So anyway, that's kind of the shape for that if you want to get it. This would be a 1 octave, you know, so if you were starting up here on the open note, you would just... You know, that would be a natural minor scale in the open position, you know, with open 3, 1, open 3, 1, kind of at the beginning of the guitar here. So your 2 octave for the C natural minor scale, of course, is going to start on the 8th fret, which is going to be more from starting with your index finger and going... So anyway, it's just going to be walking kind of up and down the scale like that.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope this helped. Like I said, we went over the blues scale and a couple of the modal scales, the diatonic modal scales. There are a lot more scales. Look up diatonic mode, see what some of these different scales sound like in case they fit your needs for something. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you think anybody else could enjoy these videos, please share, please comment, like, subscribe down at the bottom. We appreciate you guys watching, subscribing, and we'll see you on the next video.